Okay, welcome down to a cold, wet and dark North Berwick Golf Studio here. My name's Scott Young. You can see I've got my PGA card just there. This is my explanation demonstration of the chip shot for my level 2 coaching qualification. First of all, I'm going to talk about where we're going to use the shot. Now obviously I'm indoors today, but we're going to be using the chip shot around about the green. If it's a parkland course, it might be closer in because a chip shot's often a running shot, so it might be a bit softer, whereas a links course we might be looking to be around about the green as well, but further away, even up to 40-50 yards sometimes on a links course where the ground's hard and firm. And a chip shot's often used when there's no obstacles in the way, there's no bunkers, walls, big thick bits of rough to carry over. That would maybe be more of a pitch shot or a flop shot, but the chip shot is predominantly going to be a shot that's running along the ground, a little bit of time in the air, but for me a chip shot is predominantly maybe 75% run out, or depending on what club you use. Obviously if you use a 9-iron like I've got today, it's probably around about the middle of the bracket for a club that you could use for a chip shot, but you can use anything from a 58, which is going to spend more time in the air obviously than a 9-iron or a 5-iron. Even people that like to use long irons and hybrids and fairway woods if you've got slopes to run up and things like that. So there's a lot of different clubs you can use to play a chip shot, but around about the green, really within about 50 yards. It's a safe shot, but the flight of the shot's largely dependent on the club you select to use. Now today I'm going to use a 9-iron here. I've got about a 15-yard pitch shot down towards my bucket there that I'm going to try and chip the ball into. It's lying on its side so you can get the ball inside. And I've got my landing spot there maybe 5 yards in front of where I'm trying to play from, maybe 4 or 5 yards, trying to land it and then run it out that extra 10 yards. Now with a chip shot, there's no real curvature on it's quite a straight shot, it's quite a short swing. We're trying to stay kind of for an in-to-in club path with quite a neutral face, so there's no massive curvature at all really. It's normally quite a straight shot, and we're just trying to aim up, certainly with our body and our club face there, nice and straight on to our landing spot. So in simple terms, that leading edge needs to be at right angles to kind of the target line for that leading edge there needs to be at right angles to the target line for our landing spot where we're trying to land it today. Likewise, we're looking at where the ball should be positioned. That should be in the, if I grab a golf ball here and we get set up, we want that golf ball and that aim to be right in the middle of the face to try and help us get that impact position. And likewise, our aim helps our dynamic loft as well, because if we were lined up left of the target, that dynamic loft is going to be closed down, and to the right it's going to be opened up, so it's difficult to get that distance control correct. But we're really looking at getting that aim nice and straight on with everything that we can, with the club face directly towards that landing spot, because we've got no real curvature. We're trying to focus on nice straight shot, short shot. It's not in the air for long, so it doesn't have time to curve anyway. That takes us on to the hold, which comes up next. My hold for a chip shot's always quite light and fairly neutral, as you can kind of see there. I've got a couple of knuckles showing here, and my V's are pointing up towards my shoulder and my chin there, so we're quite a neutral hold down at the bottom of the grip. That helps us return that club face back to square, back to an appropriate position, and it helps us with that dynamic loft as well, the kind of strength or weakness of the grip. If we're nice and neutral, then we're not really de-lofting or adding loft too much during the swing. Gripping down the club as well will help us to kind of minimise the club head speed that we can create, because as like I've mentioned, we're maximum maybe chipping from 50 yards, so we're never needing to be creating extra length in the lever down at the bottom there. We're wanting to be next to the shaft here, not at the butt of the grip, down at the start of the grip there, just to minimise that and help us control the club head speed. We're not wanting to be big massive swings. No, it's short shots we're looking at, so down at the bottom of the club. That then takes us to our ball position. So ball position for a chip shot is going to be really quite neutral. So in the middle, I'm going to widen my stance just to show you, but right in the middle of our stance is what we're looking for. That helps us kind of basically when we put the club down on the ground, give us the loft that that club has statically. Now, if we want to play a higher shot, we'll change to a lob wedge and change the loft that way. And if we want to play a lower, harder running shot for maybe a further chip shot, we'll change club for that also. But we're going to be in the middle of our stance to help us keep that loft as it's meant to be for a 9-iron like I've got. If my ball position was pushed back, then as you can see that loft closes down, and if my ball position was pushed forward, that would open that face up by the time we get to the ball. And ball position also directly impacts strike as well, and angle of attack. So if we're back, likewise with the loft, we're down on it, and that angle of attack is going to be negative on a launch monitor. Down, that's going to mean we're maybe catching the ground early if we're too steep, and that strike location is going to go up in the face, making distance difficult. And likewise, if the ball's too far forward in our stance, too far left, we're going to catch the ball more off the leading edge, making distance control difficult. Strike's going to be low in the face, angle of attack is going to be going up in the air. So again, difficult to get any real consistency if we're moving ball position all over. So that's why it's always right in the middle of our stance there. If I again exaggerate here, we'll right in the middle of the stance. That's what we're looking for. Is where we are. So our leading edge again, that's the bit that we want to avoid. We're trying to get the ball, like we said, in aim, lined up for the middle of that club face, ball position in the middle, so we can then return the club to that place and strike the ball with the desired and intended loft. That's why we've chosen a 9-iron. We're not trying to get the ball hugely up in the air. Yeah, but that's your ball position. Our body alignment is an important factor. We're looking from the ground up. We're looking at toes, like we discussed earlier. So our body alignment is going to be, like we mentioned, with our aim towards the target, or towards our landing spot, towards the ball where we want the ball to first land. So our toes are going to be parallel to the ball to target line, or ball to the landing zone line. Our knees hopefully in the same place, our hips and our shoulders are hopefully going to be in the same place. If our body alignment and everything's parallel, this helps us to create our kind of in-to-ins, our kind of real in-to-in swing path that we're looking to create to help get that ball going straight and not really creating any huge curvature really with not a lot of face movement either. So our stance and posture as well, and bearing in mind it's a short shot, we're going to be quite close into the golf ball obviously because we're gripping down, so that means we need to stand a bit closer to the ball. I mentioned grip and hold earlier, so we're a little bit closer in. We're going to have a bit of bend from the knees, and our hands are obviously going to be dangling quite close to our body. So a little bit of bend from the knees, arms hanging down nice and close. Standing close also limits the club head speed as well. It's a short shot, so we're not trying to put too many movements or extra levers in there. It's a one lever swing we're looking to create nice and close in. So we're going to be close into that golf ball there. Our hands are bottom of the grip, so we need to be close. Arms hanging quite close, and then you can see we have a one lever swing there, which is really just coming almost like a putting stroke from rocking our shoulders there and our arms. We're not getting into a position where we're bending up and like into a full swing or maybe a pitch shot when we're trying to create more speed. It's getting that speed consistent with being nice and close in and all that kind of stuff. So we're onto our swing shape as well. So obviously swing shape depends a lot for each shot. If it's a 12-yard shot, your swing shape is going to be different. If you're using a 3-iron versus a lob wedge, it's going to be a longer swing. So if I've got my lob wedge, I'm maybe going to have to swing up to here to get that ball going because we've got more loft. And then for a 3-iron, it's going to be a shorter swing because that ball's going to shoot out a bit lower and a bit quicker. But our swing shape, for the most part, because we're quite close into, and these are short shots, we're going to be something like this, never really getting past the kind of horizontal mark really with a chip shot. That then maybe becomes a pitch because we're generating more speed to get the ball up in the air. But yeah, chip shots never really going to get past this horizontal to the ground mark. Short swing helps us control that club head speed. Short swing and not a lot of one lever swing helps us kind of maintain that club face as well. As soon as we add in other levers, we have to start rotating. That club face opens or closes on the way back and we get into some trouble. But swing shape nice and short, and then we'll take you through all that one more time, kind of hitting the main points. So we have our aim, everything's lined up quite neutral to the target, like we discussed in body alignment, everything, ball, club face, all aiming towards the target. Feet, or toes, sorry, knees, hips, shoulders, all aiming in kind of the same place as that club face, straight towards the target. We're putting the ball down in the middle of the club face, and then our hold down at the bottom of the grip. Ball position again, back, it's not a great angle for it, but if I was to stand middle of the stance, right there. We've been through body alignment, stance and posture, obviously bottom of the grip, we're a bit closer in, arms dangling, bit of knee bend, and then I'll show you our swing shape here when I try and get it into the bucket. Come up just a little bit short there. Obviously I need to practice my fundamentals and my chipping if I'm going to get it inside that bucket, but thanks for watching.